Procrastination, the art of putting things off. Who hasn't felt the weight of that unfinished task? That thing you really need to do, but whenever you think about it, your brain comes up with 1,001 excuses to do something else. In this video, we're going to talk about why you procrastinate and how to put an end to it. And let me tell you something that almost no one talks about. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's not a lack of willpower. It's emotional self-sabotage. It's a system in our brain that's completely misconfigured for the modern world we live in. Procrastinating doesn't mean you're lazy. It's a defense mechanism. At its core, it's a form of fear in disguise. The brain is trying to protect you, but it's doing it the wrong way. I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why you procrastinate. Number 1, your brain was made to keep you alive, not to help you evolve. So anything that involves fear, insecurity, uncertainty, the possibility of making mistakes, novelty, or effort is interpreted as a threat. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. It's like a primitive security guard. And its only mission, programmed over millions of years, is to detect threats and keep us safe. And in that, it is incredibly effective. The only problem is that it has a huge limitation in today's world. For the amygdala, there's no difference between an ancient threat, like a hungry lion chasing you, and a modern threat, like having to deliver an important project. In both cases, the response it triggers is the same, to run away. So it sets off an alarm to procrastinate, avoid, and seek immediate pleasure. Then the prefrontal cortex comes in, the logical part of the brain, trying to justify itself. Oh, I'll do it later. When I'm inspired, I'll start. I need to do more research. I need to study more before I start. These are not rational decisions. They're clever excuses to try to justify the fear you're feeling. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Number 2, you procrastinate because of dopamine, this invisible addiction. There's the dopamine from immediate, quick, explosive pleasure like social media, notifications, videos. And there's the dopamine from focus, slow, steady, and deep. That's what allows you to work for hours on something important. The problem is that easy pleasure always hijacks important focus, deep focus. By default, your brain will choose what's easier. Distraction now, instead of the effort that builds your future. And suddenly, everything seems more interesting than that important task you have to do. It's that sudden urge to see what's happening on social media, what's trending right now. That urge to click on a video that just popped up. Social media are masters at manipulating this. The algorithm is designed precisely to keep you there as long as possible, showing you everything you might be interested in based on what you've already seen. This creates an endless stream of small rewards that makes us want to keep coming back there. Now that we're aware of this, we need to stay alert and keep ourselves in check regarding the time we spend on these distractions, on this cheap dopamine. Number 3, you put too much pressure on yourself. Most procrastinators aren't laid back. They're perfectionists who are stuck. And common thoughts are, oh, if it isn't perfect, I won't even start. And if I fail, what will people think of me? And what if it goes wrong? So you freeze. It's the fear of failure wearing a mask of I'll do it later. I'm that kind of procrastinator. I always want to do things perfectly, to start in the perfect way, but I'm fully aware that this doesn't exist and we just have to start. There's no such thing as the perfect moment. Number 4, your mind associates the task with some kind of pain. Every task you avoid is connected to some kind of pain. Emotional pain, the pain of effort, the pain of frustration, the pain of fear of judgment. And the brain will always choose to avoid pain, unless you change the meaning of that task. Number 5, you've lost respect for yourself. This one's tough, but it's true. Every time you promise something and don't follow through, your mind understands, oh, my word doesn't mean anything. Procrastination stops being just a behavior and becomes an identity. But identities can be changed. And now that you understand the reasons why you procrastinate, let's talk about how to stop procrastinating. But first, subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you're enjoying the content. This helps the channel grow and reach more people. Number 1, stop relying on motivation. Motivation is emotional and emotions fluctuate. If you depend on it, you're handing over control of your life to your emotional state of the day. The brain doesn't change through willpower, it changes through conscious repetition. When you act even without motivation, you teach your brain, I act even when I don't feel like it, I act even when I'm uncomfortable. The Bible says in Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. Do you notice this part? Whatever you do, so you have to do it. To commit is not to feel like it, it's to decide beforehand. Discipline isn't rigidity, it's faithfulness to your decision. Number 2, break everything down into small steps. The brain panics when it realizes a task is too big. Not because it's impossible, but because it threatens your sense of control. By breaking tasks down, you trick your amygdala. It doesn't react to the small, it reacts to the big. That's why tiny steps work. They don't trigger the escape alarm. It's not about productivity, it's about emotional safety. Number 3, the 2-minute rule. The biggest resistance isn't in doing, it's in starting. The 2 minutes work because they break neural inertia. The brain shifts from a defensive state to an execution state. And there's something powerful here. After you start with those 2 little minutes, the brain tends to keep going, not out of discipline, but because of neurological consistency. Number 4, set up the environment before taking action. Procrastination wins when you have to make too many decisions, and making decisions is tiring. A tired mind procrastinates. It runs away. Prepare your environment beforehand. Keep your phone far away, turn off notifications, and have everything ready to start. You don't beat procrastination with willpower, you beat it with a smart environment. 5. Don't believe your mind when it says later. Later isn't a time, it's an escape. The mind uses later because it knows you won't hold it accountable. Ecclesiastes says, "Whoever watches the wind will never sow." The perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is imperfect action. Every time you obey later, your mind trains you to sabotage yourself. Number 6, write down your fear. Fear doesn't go away when you ignore it. It grows in the dark. Ask yourself precisely, what exactly am I afraid of in this task? What do I think will happen if I try? What's the worst case scenario I can imagine? Write this down on paper. When you write it down, you take the fear out of the amygdala, the emotional part, and bring it to the prefrontal cortex, the logical part. What seemed like a monster before becomes a concrete problem, and problems can be solved. 7. Make inaction more painful than action. The brain will always choose the path that hurts less right now, so you need to reverse this logic. Honestly visualize, where will I be a year from now if I keep putting things off? What opportunities will I miss? What kind of person will I become if I don't take action? Bring the future pain of inaction into the present so you can really feel what could happen. When procrastination starts to hurt more than taking action, your behavior changes. There is a map of life, considering a life expectancy of 90 years. This here is when we are born. This shows what I've already lived and what life I still have ahead of me. Now, this is for a 40-year-old person, and this one is for someone who's 50. Get this into your head. The youngest you will ever be is today. So start. Time is passing. 8. Hold yourself accountable every day. It's not just about discipline, it's about character too. Daily responsibility isn't about productivity, it's about identity. When you keep your promises, even the small ones, your brain learns, my word has value. This rebuilds your internal respect. And without respect, no tactic works. 9. Reward yourself after the effort. The brain learns by association. If you experience pleasure before the action, it thinks, oh, I don't need to act. I've already gotten the reward. When the reward comes after, the brain associates action equals pleasure. This is dopaminergic re-education. You're not punishing yourself, You're training yourself. So here's the lesson. You don't procrastinate because you're weak. You procrastinate because you learn to avoid pain. But now you know. And when someone knows and doesn't change, stagnation stops being ignorance and becomes a choice. Change starts small today, not later. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, leave a comment below telling us what your next step will be to stop procrastinating, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content. Big kiss and see you in the next video.